All right, welcome back live at Drew's house. I'm Drew. You can say I'm Sarah.
I'm Sarah.
Drew Moholland, Sarah Conway. I hope you're doing okay. What did you just say it looked like?
A flock of seagulls. Well, there was that band. I think I'm saying it right with your hair. I think they were maybe shaved on one side, and then they had I could be wrong about that.
I'm not familiar with that band.
I think it was like an 80s band. I'm not too familiar either.
What was their hit?
Do you want me to look it up?
Sure, yeah, I'd love you to look it up. Hope everybody's doing all right. Hope you enjoyed the shows, past shows. I think they've been good. That's what we're going for. A lot of great guests lately. Dave Gosher was fun last week. The voice of the Boston Bruins. We enjoyed that. Sarah, this is actually your return. You haven't been here in a while.
No, I've been very busy.
Teaching. What do you? What's the deal at the school there? How are you looking?
Nothing is the deal. Nobody knows.
Still not talking about it?
No.
Nobody knows.
I actually don't know anything. I think I know less than most people.
What are you drinking?
Fancy drink. It feels like fall, and I went and got a fancy Starbucks drink.
Harry, for me, I guess we're kind of showing off too much Starbucks stuff. We should have the Dunkin's cup to make it fair and balanced, don't you think?
Should be sponsored.
We should be sponsored. Yeah. What is that though? It's a fall.
This
something?
Actually, it was new. I wanted to try it. Cinnamon. Cold brew cinnamon almond milk foam.
Very fancy. Oh, here's a good conversation topic. You went and got that coffee. What do I do like once or twice a week when I go to get coffee?
I guess his hair is a little bit different.
That is ridiculous. It looks nothing like me.
Can I show that on your show?
It worked, yeah.
But the whole hair to the side thing.
My hair looks much better. What do I usually do when I go to Starbucks?
I didn't do this on purpose. I usually get Starbucks for a bunch of them for the week.
Mm-hmm. And
I went and I got just this for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't do it on purpose. It was a mistake, and I won't do it again.
What happened?
It was just commotion at the Starbucks window, and I felt like I was rushed along, and then they got this order wrong too. I wanted a venti. They gave me a grande.
You were rushed along, and they don't let you go back through the drive-thru, do they?
They would have, but I didn't. I was embarrassed. I left.
I don't think you handled that very well.
I didn't.
Dogs don't get puppuccinos?
I don't get them those anyways.
Yeah. Whipped cream in a cup, for those of you who don't know. It's a very nice thing they do. Whipped cream in a cup.
No, it's not. Dogs are lactose intolerant.
Yeah. Well, anyways, so I guess I'll go get some more coffee later. Thanks for the help, Sam. Cheers to that. Anything else going on?
Nothing.
Are you sticking for the show?
No.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, my guest is a good one. You would have enjoyed him. Mark Garfinkel, who is probably one of the best photographers in Boston.
You showed me some of his pictures. He is very good.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I think we'll see some of them on the show.
Yeah.
I think he's coming on. He's ready to go.
Cool.
All right, so we'll say goodbye to you. Thank you. Why don't you go get some more coffee?
I have work to do, so no.
Thank you, Sarah. We're bringing Mark right now. All right, Mark Garfinkel, NBC Boston. He is a photographer, I'm going to go ahead and say it. I think he'll probably be modest, but one of the best photographers in the country. How are you, Mark?
Very nice of you. I'm well. How are you guys?
Good. I'm going to go right ahead and say that. And actually, Mark, you first time on the show, so thank you for doing it. This is great. Working for NBC Boston now, background Boston Herald for many years. You may remember his work. And actually, not too many still photographer shooters at TV stations, Mark. It's pretty good honor to be holding this position.
I'm very grateful. I was let go at the Herald in 2018, and these guys picked me up. And I'm one of, I believe, only two still photographers in the news photography business in TV.
Yeah, I don't want to downplay it because it probably felt like a lot longer to you. But what were you out of work for 24, 48 hours? It seemed like NBC 10 was very quick to jump on you.
They were very, very nice. It took a couple of weeks. I was a little nervous, not sure what was going to be, and I got a call. They were very, very nice.
That's excellent. Were you surprised at all to get the TV thing? Because it's not a move that too many TV stations have been going in. But what a pickup! I mean, you're on everything.
Well, they took a chance to do it this way. A lot of my stuff ends up living on with the weather team when they're in front of their maps talking about, lightning or something, and they'll talk about, and here's our photographer, Mark Garfinkel, with a lightning bolt over, East Boston or something, which is cool. And it's been a good fit, a good marriage, so to speak, I think, for both.
Absolutely. And can you talk a little bit too, just very basic, kind of an amateur question here from somebody who knows what he likes, but not necessarily why I like it. When it comes to a still photo, what is it sometimes that makes a still photo so much more powerful sometimes than even moving pictures?
Well, I think there's a natural feeling to want to just stop it and just, look at it 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, or if it's really something that's really, making you feel deeply about something, or even, you just want to keep it there for a second or two longer than a quick video. Yeah. So I'm in business with that,
Excellent. I know we'll talk about a lot of your current work too in a second. I do wonder, as a man who I love my morning newspaper still. I like to actually have the physical copy. As a man who came up in that business, what was it a weird place to be at in these, to see like the evolution and kind of I don't want to say the fading out of newspapers, because it pains me to say that, but let's be honest, it's not the most thriving business right now. What was it like being in a newspaper newsroom there for the last few years?
It was, I got to the Boston Herald in 1993.
Wow.
And it was a great place to work. And things didn't work out at the end. So then now I'm here. But, my wife is a Boston Globe journalist, Laura Crimaldi, and she does a great job there. And so I think that print journalism here, even though they may be having a hiccup, I don't know, maybe they aren't, maybe they are. I think it's thriving when it comes to breaking news, breaking stories,
I was going to say, don't you think there's always a place for the paper, especially in a town like Boston? I can't imagine a town. I don't think it ever goes away. And you're right. So many of the stories that are broken by even the TV stations that pick up stories, so many of them are rooted in the newspaper breaking news.
Yeah, I think so. And I think it's a testament to those people that are working under very difficult conditions.
Yeah, don't mind my puppy in the background there. This is Mookie. He tends to make an appearance during the show.
Great name.
Yes, well, he doesn't have to go to LA, as it turns out. I get asked that quite a bit. But so you're loving life at NBC 10. What has been the biggest transition going from the newspaper to the television side?
Trying to do video. I'm starting to do a little bit better, a little bit more. They were very nice. They said they're not concerned about that right now. So, they've been really loving my still photos, which is really, I'm blessed. They've been great.
Absolutely. What's the, so if that's been an easy transition then, so they've obviously accepted you for, and haven't tried to change it too much. Do you still, while you're learning video, do you still have that knack to be like, that's the perfect still shot, don't worry about the video?
There's a juggling act. I'll show you a few photos shortly, but about 3 weeks ago, early in the morning, I was very close to a police scanner call on my car of a woman giving birth in a car in Revere. If I jumped out like I did with my little camera, if I was with a big TV camera, it's just so, it's so much more intimate with a very small camera. Not this situation, but I wasn't thrown out of the scene. The police, fire, they all saw me, and just, I stayed back. But with a big TV camera, I think you may be inclined to be tossed out of a scene. As it was, I got the birth in the car, very happy firefighter and EMT carrying the baby out, which I secured the permission with the mother as she's being wheeled away. She thought it was wonderful. Call me, and it worked out great. But if I had a big TV camera, I think it would not have worked out on that.
That's great stuff. And that was great. I did see that. Is it interesting because your line of work, you're not just like, sitting on a mountaintop somewhere waiting for the perfect, sunrise or sunset. You were actually, like you said, listening to scanners. And so many times you're the first person at a lot of these scenes, or at least from my estimation, who's kind of watching it all from afar. It seems like you get to a lot of these places first. You have to kind of have those news instincts too, of just like where to go, where to be, anticipate certain things. Am I right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, you have to really listen in. I mean, look, I'm a kind of a glorified ambulance chaser, right? I try to act properly out there, and not overstep my bounds. When I'm told to, move away, move away. But if you don't get there fast, really, I like to say, if you don't get there fast, really don't get there at all, because the moments are so real when it's fast. And I'm not talking about tragic moments. I'm talking about, wonderful moments like a handhold on a pregnant woman who just gave a birth in a car, right? Something like that. Geese crossing the street on Storrow Drive. Hey, you can't beat that. That's really pretty cool. So,
absolutely. What is it? Does Boston in particular present some shots that other cities don't? Is there something unique that you like about Boston?
Well, I mean, kind of cliche, right? It's a small, big city.
Yeah.
So because of that, I get around fast. I know the area really well. I used to have maps. Now I have Waze, which is just, you're there. And you just have to listen to that police scanner in the car, know what to turn off in your mind and turn on in your mind.
I remember one of my early memories of my grandfather as a young kid, obviously before he passed away, was he always had it was like entertainment for him. He always had the police scanner on in the living room. And he was more into that than any TV or radio. He liked to hear what was going on. And I don't know, maybe I picked up a little bit of that, but I always say it's like it's almost like a little bit of an adrenaline rush when you go after a story like that too, right? You want to be there. You want to be there for that moment.
Yeah, I think so, because it's real. It's very, very real at that time. You have men and women, either Good Samaritans or on the first responder teams that are trying at that exact moment, not thinking about anything, just trying to get that person out of a car or out of harm's way. And I think it's important to show that at that time, fast.
Mark Garfinkel joining us, a photog for NBC 10. Photog is a short. You can probably figure that out, folks. For in the news business, still photography for NBC 10 Boston. One thing that I love that you do, and since whenever we became Facebook friends and all that, but I've been following all your work since the age of never mind newspapers, but Twitter's really opened me up to a lot of your work too, because you can see these great pictures that you have. I live near Beverly Airport, and I'm kind of in the Logan Airport flight path, and I've always grown up around airplanes. I remember I lived in Hudson for 2 years, and I said I noticeably missed not having a flight path like overhead. I missed airplanes. You do an unbelievable job of whether it's moon or what sunsets or whatever, city backdrops, and you show airplanes a lot. And I've always loved that. It's kind of a weird thing to say that I love, I know, but I always loved your airplane photography.
Thank you. I grew up in Swampscott, so it was right underneath the flight path, and I always just looked at it. It was very cool. I now live in Winthrop, so 3 years ago today at 3:30 in the afternoon. Today, Monday, even though it was August 21st, 3 years ago was the solar eclipse. And I was just in my driveway trying to get a photo, and an airplane at 40,000 feet went right through it.
Wow.
And it was really, really cool. I've got it here. I'll show, but the sequence is pretty cool. It was like hitting a golf hole in one, because this plane is 7 miles high, going from, I believe it was Dubai to JFK, and it just happened to go right through the sun. And the sun is being eaten away by the moon's shadow? Yeah. You know what I mean? Whatever it was.
I always mix that up too. But yeah, that is crazy. So unbelievable shot. Yeah, hopefully we can see that in a couple. Let's meet the man here for a second though. What's the background? How'd you get into it? When did you know you wanted to do this?
1987. I'm 55. I started, there was a house fire in Swampscott near my home, and I took a picture. And I sent it into the local newspaper, the Salem News. And then I worked for the Lynn Item for a few years, the Associated Press freelance, the Globe freelance, and then 1993 to 2018, the Herald.
Okay. So yeah, very good. And did you know, like, did you always have a love of photography as a kid, just kind of snapping?
Not really. I always liked moments. I know it sounds a little pretentious, but kind of capturing moments and being there when nobody was able to see something and I have it,
Yeah.
That's kind of a thrill still. Yeah.
What is it about certain scenes that, like, because sometimes you see certain, like maybe a story that everybody's kind of been at the same place for a couple hours, but sometimes a photographer like you can kind of come out with like I guess you'd call it the money shot or whatever. Like you ended up getting the shot. What is it about a photographer that can kind of, what do you look for to find those moments?
I think you just, well, it's different with news than it is with a beautiful sunset, lightning, or, that takes pre-planning and stuff like that. But news does not. News, you just have to kind of float around and just absorb as much as you can. In 2016, there was a tragic trench collapse in the South End. Yeah. I was driving down the street as part of my shift, and I saw water just coming down Tremont at Dartmouth. And I thought this could make a good business feature because there's businesses there that, are being affected by what I thought was just a water leak. Little did I know that the police and fire had not received the call yet, the 911 call, and it was two men that were trapped underneath the sidewalk and street in the water, and they passed away. And I got the photo of these other workers feverishly trying to get them out, and it was just so very sad seeing it. But you have to shoot it respectfully, and I did. Yeah, and it was very moving.
Is that I would imagine, I mean, people that are on this beat see a lot of, let's face it, the news business can be tough sometimes. You see some tough things. I imagine that's probably one of the tougher stories to, in the end, have covered.
Yeah, because it was just a mind-blowing experience, tragic. But I mean, here I am on this, what I would later find out was, sacred kind of ground, I thought it was just, at the time, I thought it was just going to be a regular nothing or other photo of maybe businesses affected by a water leak, because there was a lot of water coming down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
How about the other end of that spectrum? What's the story that you didn't expect much of, but it's one of the ones that has stuck with you in a great way? Just a very satisfying scene to be at.
I got a tip. I think it was 2010 or 2011 of Giselle Bundchen, Tom Brady's wife, of course, supermodel. She was taking helicopter flying lessons in Marshfield. Oh. And she was 6 months pregnant, which I thought was interesting. I wouldn't go up at all, period, let alone if I was, but I got that scoop, and I got her up in the air. I got her down on the ground. It was pretty cool. That's neat.
Cool. That's excellent. Yes. It's funny. We both love airplanes. I'm with you. I would never go up in one of those little planes.
Exactly.
On our honeymoon, I remember my wife and I, we actually did, for our honeymoon, we did Costa Rica. And I remember, for those of you who have ever been there, you can like fly across, like get to airports, a lot of those resorts in a half hour. But what might be a half-hour flight is like a 4.5-hour drive, because the infrastructure is, it's just not great. So she wasn't into it. I was gonna say, that's a lot of time maybe we should just do the flight. And she said, no way. So I guess both of us aren't doing the small planes, but that's just where we're at. Anyway, so can we see some pictures here, Mark? You got some right there for us?
That's really where I feel more comfortable. So thank you so much. Let me see if I can do this. And thanks for having me.
Wow, this is great.
Can you see that? Is it backwards?
That's perfect right there.
Okay. So that's the BU Bridge in Boston, and just a little slice of life. I had noticed that these little ducklings or goslings, I think, goslings were just hatched. So, yeah, they're just crossing the railroad track. Kind of cool.
That is great. Tom?
I would get tips. This tip came in. Guess who's across the street from me right now? So, you know, this is a little hard because it's kind of a little bit invading, you know, but I really love this photo. I'm a dad now of a 3-year-old, and to me, this is it, you know. And I kind of got validation because Giselle used it on her Instagram for Father's Day the next year, which I thought was really cool.
Yeah, that must be kind of like the, I guess validation is the word. That's that moment for you right there when you know you've done it right?
Absolutely. And like I said, I would get these tips. They were in town a lot, so they were pretty cool Bostonians, you know. Giselle and her son. A lot of what I do, some of what I do is very tough. This was the firefighter Kevin Kelly of the Boston Ladder 26. His ladder truck's brakes failed, and it went all the way down Parker Hill into a brick building. And this was when they had just taken him out of the truck. To me, you know, this is a tough one. I've met the daughter of Kevin Kelly, and she thought that this was just an amazing photo for the family to have later on when we spoke. But at the time, it's tough. You know, that's real tough stuff. Again, kind of like sacred stuff.
Mm.
They had just recovered his body and brought him into the ambulance.
Funerals and that sort of stuff must be just really difficult.
I don't really do too much of that right now.
Yeah.
This is, do you remember the Chestnut Hill bear?
Yes, this is the one, they had to tranquilize this one, right?
They tranquilized him. He was 60 feet up and he fell. And they said it was going to be okay, but I understand later he passed away.
Yeah, this was over the Mass
Probably from the
Pike,
fall,
right?
I guess.
This was over the Mass Pike, is that right?
No, this was very close to Chestnut Hill at Hammond Street.
Oh, okay. Yes, I do remember this one. Yeah. Okay. Right.
I lived in Somerville for a little bit, and this was down the street at the beginning of a shift.
Well, tunnel of fire, huh?
Yeah. This was a lunar eclipse that I wanted to get a little creative. I don't usually do any trickery, and this is not trickery. This is just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 photographs on one thing, a multiple exposure. I did, I think, 13-minute intervals of the super blood moon lunar eclipse.
Oh, wow. What a photo that is.
This was crazy. If you can see on top, that's a man on the top right there of the Tobin Bridge.
Wow.
He was trying to get away from police, and that evening commute, the whole bridge was shut down. They finally did capture him. He climbed down one of these things. It was crazy.
Well, so you're on the Chelsea side there, right?
Exactly, yeah. With a huge lens. This actually is Bill Belichick and Robert Kraft. Probably the last time Robert Kraft drove, I would think. This was a long time ago when they were thinking about hiring him as a coach. They were driving out of the old Foxborough Stadium.
That's cool.
This is the trench collapse that I was talking about.
Yeah.
That's Steve Smith, who was a worker nearby, who was trying to hook this onto the road grate, the metal plate, to get that up as firefighters are just arriving.
Wow. You can see the pain in that one.
Yeah, it was just tough stuff. This is the eclipse 3 years ago today of the solar eclipse. Even though it was August 21st, it was on Monday at about 3:10, I think it was.
Man.
And that's the shadow. It was coming out. It was fully covered, And I'm thinking, oh, come on, there's got to be a plane coming through, because they just kept going through and through and through. This was going from, like I said, Dubai to JFK. Here's the sequence, kind of cool. You know, is it going to hit? Is it going to hit? Boom, boom, boom. It's crazy. It's like a hole in one.
It is. Did you, excuse me for not knowing this, did you win an award for that? Because you should have if you didn't.
I think I did with Aviation News was, and Boston Press Photographers Association as well, I think, which was kind of cool. That
is great. Wow, crazy. Sorry, you can keep going. I didn't mean to break you up there.
This is a rainbow. This summer has been great for weather. That's the Zakim Bridge with the setting moon at about 5 in the morning about a month ago.
Wow.
Oh, there's a lightning bolt over the city.
Wow.
Bill Belichick.
Yeah.
That was a while ago.
Focus through the practice. I like it.
Who's that on the scooter?
I think I recognize that guy.
Yeah, Tom Brady again. This was interesting. This was when the call was going out to socially distance and wear masks. And I just happened to catch her. People had fun with the caption that she's 6 feet away, right? Because she's up high. Wow. She was near Jamaica Pond. More lightning.
How do you get the lightning strikes? Is that just, is it just you're staking out a spot and just anticipating you hear the thunder and you wait for the lightning? Is it as simple as that? Or what else are you looking for in that shot?
A foreground is very important, and you need to really get a good foreground because a bolt is nothing. You got to really work for some pretty, of course the city skyline is pretty cool. So I've probably overshot it a little bit, but that's only because I really want to get the Prudential Center being struck, which I did actually on this one here. You can't tell, but it's funny. That's my wife's building, the Globe building right there that's blocking the Prudential Center. We kind of joke about that. But that is the Prudential Center over here and way over here, and the antenna is being struck.
All right.
Here's the birth on the highway about a month ago in Revere. Real nice moment. I know that these police were not there, just fire and EMS, Cataldo EMS. I know that they were thrilled.
Great photos, yeah.
This is kind of funny. This is the mother being wheeled away. There's the baby, and she's texting, probably, hey, guess what just happened? Shortly after that, I kind of waved my arms, and just to show her that I was there. And I said, I'm sorry to bother you. Congratulations. I was wondering if we could follow this up. And she said, hell yeah. She was great.
And,
she's very good.
You think about it, Dad's not there. She probably wants any memories of that as possible.
Yeah, I mailed them some photos. They were very, very nice people.
Very cool.
This is a turn, I think it's called, going at 1,000 miles an hour into the water there.
That caught my eye the other day. I saw that picture the other day when I was going through some of your stuff. That is fascinating.
I mean, this is kind of what I'm talking about. This trooper is on Storrow Drive a few years ago, and he's just stroking the leg of this guy who ended up being injured, but not seriously. And I just remember him saying, "Don't worry, sir. Help is on the way. The ambulance is on the way." Of course, the next trooper in kicked me out of there, and they don't realize sometimes. I was not blocking anything, but it's their deal. They own the roadway. They can boot us out, whenever we want. But this is kind of what I'm looking for. I'm not looking to exploit, anything like that. I just want to get that one moment. So I think it's very important to be there.
Absolutely.
This is kind of a nice community situation. This Boston ambulance was stuck in Kenmore Square, and all these people were helping push it. I always like that.
For all of you complaining about the heat wave.
Exactly. So that's just a little bit of a selection. Thank you for watching.
Thanks. That was great. Thanks for taking us through that. That was fantastic. Loved it. I have to ask. This is kind of the my wife looks at me a lot and says she hears some of the stories that happen in the news business and says that is a crazy place to work. I can't imagine you guys are both in it in that household over there. What's it like, Laura being at the Globe?
Well, like I said, we have a 3-year-old, so
does the 3-year-old help, or does it make it more chaotic?
Oh, he's great. He keeps me all even keeled, he's my subject all the time now.
Very nice. What was there ever any like strange moments where you had a lead on a story and you couldn't let her know?
Yeah, we kind of don't try to not talk about work at home. She works on some great stuff, important stuff.
She does. She's she's such a big name in this city now. I don't really need to tell you how good her work is, but
that's nice of you. Thank you.
I've never actually got a chance to meet her in person, but I do love reading her in the newspaper. What's the best, like when you wake up what time do you wake up in the morning?
Well, my shift is 5:30 in the morning to 2.
Okay. So are you one of those, do you have like the scanner on first thing when you wake up?
Yes, but I don't have it on overnight.
Okay.
Got to have a life.
Yes, you try to differentiate. I understand that feeling very, very well. Does the 3-year-old like your photos?
He's great. His name is Leo, and he's very, very cool. Very savvy about cameras.
Very savvy. Very good. How many pictures do you think we have of him so far?
That's a great question. I was thinking about it the other day. It's got to be about 60,000. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Every day is about 100, right? I don't know.
Don't want to miss a moment. I get it. And where are you guys coming? You're North Shore. I think you hinted at that, but what comfortable with town you're living in, or?
We're in Winthrop. Yeah.
You are in Winthrop. Okay. Cool. Yep. So you guys still have the airplanes all around. Very nice. What has been like the story that you have gone to that has been kind of like the one you've learned the most from? Like there was a lot going on, maybe a bunch of different components. What's the one that stands out in your mind of like, that was a really great learning experience?
I think it was going to Oklahoma City for the 2nd year anniversary after the Murrah Federal Building bombing. Yeah. And then for the 2001 execution of Timothy McVeigh, even though he was executed in Terre Haute, Indiana, they sent me with Boston Herald columnist Peter Gelzinis to the Murrah Federal Building, which at that point in 2001 was a beautiful museum, an outdoor museum. And learning how those people dealt with just horrific stuff, including the daycare center. That was very powerful. Still very powerful.
What was were you in town for the marathon? I believe
I was there about an hour and a half after it happened. Yeah. On emergency overtime. I didn't work Mondays at the time. So I didn't work that day.
Yeah.
But I worked in Watertown. In fact, my then boss told me, he said, don't wear your hat backwards, because they said that one of the mugshots of one of the perpetrators, I guess I looked like him a little bit at the time with a hat on backwards. So
I could see it. I had a little bit of that too. I had the long hair, and one of those shots afterwards, somebody actually said the same thing to me. I think it was one of the newspaper photos actually that somebody pointed that out to me. So very interesting. So yeah, Watertown. What was that like? That must have been a crazy ride that night.
Yeah, it was dark. It was very scary. You didn't want to get in the way of the police, but I was stopped a couple of times, and it was crazy because they shut down the whole town. So once you were in, you couldn't get out.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was weird.
Sorry, go ahead.
Well, I went home, and then an hour and a half later, he was caught.
Wow.
So,
every news person I've ever talked to about that mentions what you just mentioned as well. And I mean, I noticed it going into work. It was crazy how they shut that town down. People talk about this quarantine being, a shutdown. It was nothing like Boston for those few nights. I mean, there were no cars on the road. You felt kind of odd driving to work or driving wherever you're going as a news person because, I mean, just there was nobody out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. It was crazy. Very strange.
I remember walking out my front door thinking to myself, what am I doing? I'm leaving my girlfriend at the time here. Like, it's like we had roommates and everything. So that made me feel a little bit more comfortable, but it's interesting. Certainly a few days I'll never forget. Tragic, but also a lot of resiliency stories in there as well. Can we do a little rapid fire with you? I usually end this show by doing some rapid fire. I'm not sure if you've seen it on past shows.
Sure.
First thing that comes to mind, all right? The most fun person in any newsroom you've ever been in.
The most fun? Well, I worked with my wife.
Oh, good answer. Besides her, that does not count.
Probably Peter Gelzinis, who was a very famous Boston Herald columnist.
Yes. All right. You got to do a lot of long trips with him, so that probably helped.
Yeah.
All right. Very good. Let's get outside the news stuff for a little bit. What's your favorite musician?
Oh, I just run if it's been a long day, something slow like Gordon Lightfoot.
Oh.
If I need to have some zip, I don't know, Snoop Dogg.
Okay, very good. Excellent. Wide ranging. How about favorite movie?
Well, you know something? I watched it again fairly recently on YouTube. To me, even though it's pretty whacked, Midnight Cowboy was just, that was just a brilliant ending. Very sad to a really whacked out movie.
Okay.
I like that one.
Midnight Cowboy.
I did like that one.
Very good. What is your favorite city to take photos of, not Boston?
Well, let's see. I'm not much into big travel. Been only twice to Europe, but I've been to St. Martin twice. I really like St. Martin.
St. Martin. Is St. Martin the one with the airport?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you get to go to what's called Sunset Bar and Grill. Yeah. You sit there, you sip drinks, you lay on the beach, and airplanes go. You could throw a tennis ball at them and it could bounce back at you. Gotcha. It's crazy. The photos are amazing.
I was going to say, knowing you got plenty of good shots of that.
Yeah, I did.
How'd they come out? Good?
Very good. Very good.
All right, excellent. And what would be, this will be my final question, what would be the best career advice you ever received for somebody who wants to come up and be a photographer, or maybe just in the news business in general? What would be that advice?
Whatever you want wants you.
Oh.
If you're passionate enough about something and really going at it and wanting, that something is going to want you. However, it's a difficult business right now. It's a difficult country and world. Who knows what's going to be? But when things clear up, that's exactly it. Be passionate.
Good answer. You guys doing all right through the quarantine? And I know we're out and about still, kind of, but everybody doing okay?
We're doing good. Yep. Thank you so much. How are you guys?
We're good. Yeah, we've been lucky. We got some people working in hospitals in the family and all that, but so far, a couple of cases. But my cousin got coronavirus, and he went to school at Myrtle Beach, and he's one of those kind of tough break seniors who had the last year stripped away from him. And he ended up getting it from actually one of the football players down there had a little gathering before it exploded, and he got it from him. But they were all, that age group seems to be doing okay with it, and he was pretty much asymptomatic. So, but yeah, he tested positive, and he said it was it turned kind of weird down there too. But luckily, pretty good for our family. So we'll knock on wood with that one. Exactly. Stay safe there, my friend. Tell Laura and the 3-year-old we said hello, and thanks for joining us, man. This was fun. We'll do it again someday.
Thank you, and thanks, Sarah. Take care. Stay
Absolutely.
well.
Thanks, Mark. We'll see you soon.
Thank you.
All right, Mark Garfinkel right there of NBC 10 Boston. Hope you enjoyed that. I did. He's I don't know him too well. We just kind of crossed paths being in the, news business and news world, and, we're Facebook friends and all that. And I've always loved his work. So I thought I would reach out, and it was nice to kind of virtually meet him. And that was fantastic. I love that stuff. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I love seeing the pictures, and even more than that, I love having the person who took them kind of walk us through what was going through the mind and all the other stuff that's going on around the picture. I've always thought that's fascinating stuff. So I hope you enjoyed that, the walkthrough, and go check out his work, Mark Garfinkel. You see him on NBC Boston 10. You'll see his work on there all the time, and he's really a great Twitter follow if you get on there. Great photos, and just a good journalist, because those guys are the ones that are first to a lot of these scenes. Let me tell you, I know that for a fact. So thank you, Mark. That was great. I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you to Sarah earlier in the day. We appreciate this return of Sarah. She's busy these days with the return to school, but we thank her for joining us. Good to have Sarah back on the show as well. Thank you, Mark. Thank you, Sarah. Live from Drew's house, another edition. See you next time. Peace.